The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, and next to me, as always, is my scary death god, the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Death Note.
What are you doing?
We don't have a lot to say about Death Note, so I'm trying to draw this out. And I can't up the font, so...
Alright, so listen. We wanted to do this podcast on something, Friday night. And we were trying to figure out what it was, and then we were like, alright, why don't we watch something on Netflix podcast about that? You know, there might be something interesting. We turn on Netflix, Death Note, 2017.
I was actually pretty sure it had released that day or the night before or something.
I had no idea. So we both looked at each other and went, so we're doing this then. Yup. And we watch it, and, well... He's right. They don't. I mean, there's stuff to say, but I don't know that it's a lot.
Yeah.
So you might get Death Note plus random facts about our week. But let's start with Death Note.
Let's go ahead and get the spoiler-free thing out of the way. Not that I know we'll talk too much about spoilers, but just in case. What did you think, the boy?
I think, and I've actually been asked this question several times about this since I put up that I saw it online.
Because that's how it happens. Yeah.
You
saw a thing, defend it.
I just witnessed it, fam. Calm down.
How dare you view anything?
He talks to Vince McMahon a lot.
If it's not WWE, damn it, it's nothing.
So, oh, come on, Vince. You know you want us to watch Justice League. You got about half your company staked on us continuing to like Jason Momoa. So anyway.
We don't talk about the false Roman.
The false one. The un-Roman. The anti-Reigns.
We only speak of Big Daddy Cool Roman Reigns. He's the greatest wrestler ever time.
Okay, we're really venturing off topic. I want to start with Death Note, and then we can venture off and be assholes later.
That comes later.
I've been asked this question several times, and I think I've boiled it down to a simple yes/no question followed by a response.
Okay.
Have you seen Death Note the anime or read the manga? If yes, there's more to be had here. You know, there's more conversation. If no, yeah, you'll probably like it if you like other similar things, like Donnie Darko or shit like that. Supernatural dramas is the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah, with with a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions is sort of being able to cope with that is important.
Yeah.
If you liked Lost, you'll like this. If you have you seen Death Note the anime or read the manga? Yes. Okay. Second question, how open are you to a loose interpretation of the source material? Not very. You will hate. You will hate and hiss and boo, and then you'll give it the down thumbs on Netflix, and then you'll hate me for telling you to watch it. If you are open to a looser interpretation of the source material, I think you'll enjoy yourself. It's not the best thing ever, but I think you'll have a good time.
Same. I'd like to add to that I think it was, the biggest problems for any audience is that it's really, really fast-paced. They don't dwell on much of anything at all. So if you're bad at picking up details or you need shit told to you...
And you didn't see the anime, which will give you the details you need.
Yeah, you might want to be careful with this one.
It is, I didn't think about it, but it's pretty fast-paced. I mean... I was fine because, one, I'm decent at picking up details quickly, and two, I watched the anime, so
sure.
The shit that they just gloss over, I'm like, yes, that character I knew for 6 seasons.
Well, and they condense basically the first half of the anime into an hour and 45 minutes. And I don't remember exactly how many episodes it is, and of course, neither of us thought to pull that up on Wikipedia, so it will remain a mystery.
Yeah, it will, because I'm not looking it up now.
They condense all that anime into
an hour and 45 minutes. Roughly 2 episodes of the show? 3, maybe?
3, yeah. Well, 4 because commercials.
Yeah, I suppose if you cut out the commercials, it's 4.
But and there's stuff you have to dwell on, like. The first hour of the show is the first couple episodes of the anime. So, I mean, because you got to set up that shit.
And it takes time, and you got to set up some character stuff, and that takes time, and you got to give some shit a little room to breathe so that you care about the characters at all, and that takes time, which leaves them roughly 45 minutes for their conclusion. So, they got to take the brakes off that train and let it roll.
Yeah. But that's the spoiler-free version. If you're willing to take a gamble... And hey, I'll be straight up. Let's not mince words here. If you set out wanting to hate this thing,
you'll hate it.
You will. 100%. If you're on the fence, like, I don't know, I really love the anime, or they're going to do it justice, probably fucking not. You're probably too picky. And I don't mean that to be mean.
Unless you have some very specific complaints, which I won't get into here, but I can understand. You will love L.
Give the actors a chance. Like, and we believe this in most things. Come on, guys,
I can understand disliking something that is a strong departure from the source material on its own sake, unless they give me some other reason. I loved Michael Clark Duncan as Wilson Fisk in the Daredevil movie. Yes, I still like the Daredevil movie. Fight me, nerds. He threw a thing at me.
We're fighting now.
But I loved him because I felt like he represented the character well. He had the physical presence.
You know what? I agree, and I like Michael Clark Duncan a lot too. But
I said Michael Clark Duncan, right? I didn't say Ving Rhames.
No, you said Michael Clark Duncan.
Good.
That's the only reason I knew who it was, because God, those guys were kind of similar and acted very prominently in the same time frame.
Yes, that's why that
Michael Clark Duncan
one
is
of
the
them
dead
has
one.
a mustache.
The other one's dead.
Yeah.
So, but I do like Michael Clark Duncan. I've liked him in most movies I've seen him in. I think he does have a great presence. I don't know. I didn't really care for him as Kingpin.
That's fair. But like by that same vein, it's a departure from the source material.
Sure.
But I really like this actor. I forget his name, and I should look it up because he deserves it. The guy who played L does an amazing job. He acts like L.
Lakeith something.
He moves like L from the anime, and that's so hard to do because it's a cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, he nails the performance. Light is a departure. Not as far as you think it is when you first start watching, but still a departure.
A joke came to me. I didn't actually tweet it because I don't, as anyone who follows me on Twitter knows, I don't actually tweet things.
Just really retweets from fucking... What's his nuts?
Actually, fun fact. You're about to find out who's his nuts. Because after I watched the movie, I thought, man, this is of all of the many characters this year and last year that are literally just parodies of Max Landis, this one's the most affectionate. And it is. I mean, Light is not the same character in this. He is a good character.
And he has a lot of similar character traits. We're venturing past the spoiler territory, by the way. If you didn't want to get spoiled, move along. He has a lot of similar character traits. I think he's the same bundle of tropes turned a different way.
He's the same bundle of tropes, and this is hilarious because this is one of the things that is sort of intrinsic to the American adaptation. He's the same bundle of tropes in America. Because in Japan...
He's got that American headband.
No. But I love that reference. In Japan, the incredibly smart, incredibly high-performing wizard of academia would be much higher on the social ladder.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because they have a much more competitive schooling system. And it's much more focused on academic performance as opposed to social stuff. At least as far as I've been able to gather. So someone as smart as Light would be much more highly placed socially. Because he was popular and charismatic and confident. This one is much more of your standard American genius outcast because, well, I don't know that that's currently the case in American schools because I haven't been for 10 years. It certainly was when I was in school that American schooling age children don't care as much about academic performance as they do social confidence and gregariousness.
From what I understand, it's actually something that's sort of burgeoning, and has been for a while now, but like, especially in current year, is a social issue for the teens in Japan. They want to be more like American schools. They want to care more about their social lives, like in the manga and in the, what do you call them, visual novels and stuff. And yeah, it's a part of their lives, but academia is pushed so strongly that they don't have time for it. As I understand it, a lot of Japan and Asia in general have such strict regulations placed on education that teens stress the fuck out. And we have that here. But like, that's a subsection of the student body, is those overachievers who burn themselves out on that hyperstress. Whereas in Japan, that's the norm.
That's a whole section of the population.
Yeah. So
They have
understand
terms
it,
for it.
pieced together from shit I've heard on the
Yeah,
internet.
sugar packets. I mean, we don't live in Japan, and I certainly don't speak moon runes.
I've got about 4 under my belt.
So, but it makes sense, and the other various changes of between our culture and Japanese culture makes sense that Light would be the person he is as opposed to the person he was in the anime. With one notable exception, in that Light in the anime is the bad guy.
See, you keep saying this, but I don't know that I necessarily agree.
Okay.
I would agree that he's spun a little more as the good guy in this, as the protagonist.
He's spun more sympathetically.
Yeah, but I don't know that either of them are the good guy or the bad guy. I argue that's the point of Death Note.
No, I don't mean between him and L. L is...
No, either of the Kiras.
I would say in Death Note, between Misa Misa and Light, Light is the bad guy, Misa Misa is an obstacle to the bad guy. He's a villain protagonist, but he is the villain. Misa Misa is an obstacle to that villain. In this, spoilers, Mia is the bad guy.
Well,
Mia is the one who does the bad things.
All right, but that's like a really late game turn.
Right, but they spend a large section of the movie setting it up.
Sure, I won't argue that, but it's just not... I see this as less of a heroic tale and more of just a case study, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know that Light's a good guy.
No, I don't...
I just don't think he's the villain of the movie.
Sure, and in Death Note, I don't even think Light's the villain of the movie, or with the anime.
See, I would disagree with that. I think he's certainly charismatic, and he's a fun villain to watch, but I would argue that Death Note, at the very least, is one of the few things that is a great example of villain protagonist. He's absolutely the bad guy.
I think people are operating on stronger shades of gray than that. I mean, one could argue that point about a lot of things. In my opinion, it's the Jedi who are evil. But, that's... I think it's cast in shadow very directly and for a reason. I think it's a study of what is right here. So many people say, oh, if I had the power, I would kill this person who is wrong. All right, but that spreads out from there. And actually, I don't remember in the anime because it's been...
a long time.
About 8 years.
God, yeah, it has. Wow. I kind of want to watch that anime again.
I wouldn't mind watching the first half of that anime again. Yeah, there's another detail. I've only ever seen the first half of that anime.
Yeah, spoilers for like a super old anime and manga. Or manga or whatever. I'm not weeb enough to get it right.
I am. It's mangoes.
Sure, that. Mangoes. Mangoes and Pamplones. So... We both watched the anime until Light won, until Light beat L, and then we both looked at each other and went, done, and then we stopped.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nier and Mello, and like the storyline doesn't need to continue from there.
No,
now,
he wins.
Mind you, I like how the actual anime ends. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, like I looked up the ending later, and that's actually really good.
And I referenced it again while we were watching the movie to see if that's where they were heading, and they kind of teased like they might be.
Yeah, same.
Which I thought was so cool. But I think that's a really great end to the story. I just didn't want to put up with Nier and Mello to get there.
I don't like them as characters. They're smug in a way that L never was.
No, yeah, L was
That's
never...
not to say L's not smug. He is.
He was never a braggart. He was matter of fact. It was, I can do this, not because you don't understand. I can do this.
He was classic. He was classical Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Not Sherlock Holmes. Because Sherlock Holmes is, as summarized neatly by Watson, you've never been a detective, you're a drama queen.
I like that.
And that's the difference, is that Nier and Mello weren't detectives, they were drama queens.
Well, they were both like teenagers, weren't they?
Yeah, but like L wasn't much older.
No, that's true.
He was their dad, sort of thing. He was the mature one. It'd be like if someone beat Batman in a fucking wits battle. Like if Riddler went full like mega supervillain and like actually outmaneuvered Batman and killed him, just straight up murdered him, right? And then he had to fight like Jason Todd and then Damian Wayne. And sure, Damian Wayne beat him, and I use the biggest air quotes possible, but it's more like he beat himself.
It really is. It's more like he beat himself and his backup plan went, nah, thanks though.
Which is perfect. But we continue to talk about the anime. The movie is actually quite good. It's not perfect.
No, even as a standalone
the pacing
film.
Has some issues.
Yeah,
as just a standalone film, the pacing has some issues.
There's a couple of things that are like kind of a direct result of the pacing. Like, characters buy stuff really quickly. Like, okay.
Sure, that's a thing.
All right, fine.
And there's little tiny bits here and there that I'm not super fond of. I have no complaints about L. L's character is next to perfect. Like, he even, as he goes into a place that L in the series never went, it's a departure for the character, but I feel like it fits that movie's character really, really well.
Well, yeah, because he's way more... I'm not going to attribute psychological illnesses to the man because I'm not a psychologist. But whatever illnesses he has that make him the way he is, he exhibits in the extreme when shit goes pear-shaped for him. In a way that's like...
very
super relatable.
realistic.
Yeah, and super relatable. And like almost kind of cathartic in a way to watch him snap.
To see that he's not perfect. He's not a machine. He has things that are more important to him than the, existential concept of truth and justice.
Like, okay, and if I may, a lot of times when an adaptation strays too far from the pseudo-perfectionist preferences of the viewer who's familiar with the source material, they will say, I just treat it like fanfic. But if you think about it, and this was a fanfic, and the idea behind this fanfic was, all right, I want to do Death Note, I want to do it in America. The central concept is, what would have to happen to have L lose his shit?
And then they did it, and it was so well done.
Yeah, it's just fantastic.
I can't, I have a lot of good things to say about the guy who played L. I don't really have bad things to say about the guy who played Light or the lady who played Mia. I think they both did their jobs really well.
I think the dad needed a mustache, but otherwise he was
the
good.
dad needed a mustache like you.
If he'd had a mustache, like it looked like it belonged there, and he shaved
he
it
looked
off.
it honestly looked like he was missing it.
Yeah.
Now there is one thing I actually preferred in this adaptation to the original, regarding specifically the dad, and that is that the dad seems in the anime, he's quick, sort of, to buy that Light might be Kira. Like, he doesn't believe it, but he's willing to investigate. He's willing to, okay, fine, we'll put him under surveillance, that's what we'll do. And that's perhaps a cultural difference.
I was about to say, I think that's more of a cultural difference.
Because the American version is much more up my alley, because his son, who he loves, who is one of his people, was accused by this random psycho who just barged into their house of being, a violent psycho mega murderer, and he immediately Like, the reaction is immediate. All right, you need to fuck off right now.
Well, and honestly, and I just said, a lot of people for the pacing buy things pretty quick, except Dad. Dad is like, what is all this bullshit? What is all of this bullshit collectively?
Stop with this bullshit. And then...
I don't want this ice cream. Fuck
Elle
off.
Elle has finally, gone a little too far and snapped, and he actually threatens Light and, lunges at him. And the dad immediately puts him down, and then he threatens Light with, I think the line is, and you will not survive it. And the man's line is, you threaten my son again, and I will fucking kill you. And it is so genuine.
Oh, yeah, the performance was fantastic.
That was Oscar-worthy. That was an Oscar-worthy line read, because that felt genuinely like that man was about to kill that guy.
Yeah. The acting in this was spectacular. And look, okay, whatever departure from, if you wanted to see them just do...
If you want a live-action adaptation of Death Note that is an almost picture-perfect adaptation from the anime...
Sucks to be you. The Japanese one isn't that good.
Really? I heard it's really close.
Yeah, but it suffers a lot in the transition.
So it's close in. All right, so you got a choice. You can have close in what happens at lower quality, or a better quality with some adaptational.
Yeah, because this film was also beautiful, just
the director of photography earned his fucking money.
Oh my god, and the acting was so fucking good. And some of those scenes and some of those. I don't know, man. I really dug this movie. And I described it at the time, and I think on my Facebook as well, that this is the kind of film I would have watched as a teenager, caught on HBO, and just fallen in love with. This has that Donnie Darko vibe, that Crow vibe, of just this really dark, supernatural, weird little story that has so much behind it. And honestly, in a way, I kind of like a lot of the unanswered questions that are intrinsic to the way the format goes down.
There's one unanswered question that I like, and I shouldn't. And I feel like this is. I want to mention this. And might be where we wrap up on but we might be able to squeeze 9 more minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. We're running good.
The end. The end is an open question. They end on L having gotten a hold of a page of the Death Note, and this version of L being absolutely at his wit's end, and he knows Light is guilty, but the police are done investigating, because Light has absolutely covered his tracks beyond a shadow of a doubt as far as they're concerned.
Fucking Light style.
Yeah, he lighted. At the very end, he pulled out the light fucking just as planned. All according to Kekaiku. Translator's note, Kekaiku means planned. But... So he knows he's guilty. He 100% knows he's guilty, but he can't prove it. And he finds a page of the Death Note, which he hasn't known existed until this point. He had a couple very vague clues that got him to a page, and on that page he saw what was written. It was Watary's name, so he knows what happened. He's L, so he puts it together. So he goes to the nearest source of a pen and picks it up, and there's a picture of Light right there, and he's just staring at the picture, and he has the paper, and he's cry laughing at this point. Well, and then they cut it off.
He's cry laughing, and then he stops, and he goes dead clarity for just a second.
He's freaking out, and then just snap, and L is back. And then it cuts off to Ryuk laughing.
Yeah.
To which looks around because he's in a hospital room and nothing really is going on. He goes, "What? Humans are so interesting."
And I mean, it's good. It's a good question ending because there's so many things. There's so many ways you can interpret it. I guess we are going full heavy spoiler territory here, but long story short, what happened is, as we know it, Mia was the one who killed Watari. So
and Mia was the one who did all of the bad guy things. Light in this movie killed a bunch of bad people, but they were all bad people.
Except maybe the last couple, kind of sketchy on that.
Yeah, because they came from that sketchy fan site.
Yeah, it came from that sketchy fan site, but whatever. So the picture that Elle is staring at is of Light and Mia. So he's laughing, looking at this picture I got you, I'm going to write your name in the book. And he doesn't sound like that.
No, he sounds awesome.
Yeah, he was amazing.
There's this one line, I'm L, you're L. Yes, I am, although that's not my real name. but I'm sure you're painfully aware of that. Oh! So good!
So, he's laughing and he sees the picture. So, what is happening here? A lot of things could be happening here. He might be entering a clarity of, I have to take a life. I have to kill a man. I, Batman, have to break my one rule, but it's for the greater good.
Right.
It could be, I have to take a life. I have to kill a man. I have to break my one rule. I don't deserve to live either.
So he's going to write his name down next. It could be him putting the points together and realizing that Light wasn't the one who did the bad things. He killed the bad guys, and the girl killed Watari, and she's dead. And he wasn't planning on killing Light for killing those bad people. He was planning on killing Light for killing Watari. So he doesn't have justification to do it anymore, but he still wants to.
So now he needs to figure out how to bring him to justice as is good and proper.
It could have been so many things.
It could have been so many different things.
And as Briok notes, humans are so interesting.
Because he would have just fucking killed them all. I mean, they lean a little harder on Ryuk's villainhood in this than they do in the anime. Again, because, Ryuk's not a bad guy, he's a force of nature.
Ryuk is a god of death.
Yeah, so,
in the movie, he's a little bit more, let's kill some fuckers. Let's do it!
This is about upping a body count, my friend. I mean, I appreciate you have a moral crusade, you justify things, that makes it interesting.
I mean, you literally could just Google names and kill everyone on them. I don't care. Just put names in the book. Names in the book,
so these hang-ups are things he doesn't have. So if he's got any sort of remote viewing on the note and its pages, then he's sitting there, remote viewing on L, going, but my dilemmas. Just going, this is the dumbest shit. Or he could be talking because Light had confessed everything that happened to his dad just a minute beforehand.
Yeah, that's the reveal of his amazing Light plan. And what's his dad gonna do? Because his dad knows now. Light admitted it right to his face. What's his dad gonna do? Because his dad, like in this, works for internal affairs.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and specifically, this is his case.
Yeah, this is his whole case is to catch Kira, and Kira is sitting right in front of him. But it's his own son. What do you do?
And I'm jumping back onto a more general thing here. The complaints I've heard about this movie are it's not paced well.
And that's true. That's just fair.
It's not as good as the anime.
That's subjective.
Or it's not the same as the anime.
That's true.
And
I don't know that it's a complaint, but it's true.
Sure. And there's a couple of little details that people are nitpicking over. Go back and watch at some point I talked about the original Avengers movie and how I felt about it. Go back and watch everything Avengers related, subscribe, comment, and then come back here and understand that me nitpicking and going, but I still loved this movie, is what they're using to justify, I hate this movie because it's not perfect.
And I saw a lot of complaints online as this adaptation forgets or misses or leaves out, or however they want to phrase it, everything that made the anime good. No, friend.
They did their best with an hour and 45 minutes.
I don't know what you thought made the anime good. The fucking interplay between Light and Hell is what made the anime good.
Yeah, well, I mean, the potato chip scene's gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. They did remove the potato chip
scene.
Well,
hell, I don't know. If they were big fans of Nier and Mellow, I guess they did leave out everything that made the anime good. But disagree.
I think that at that point, you and I are just different enough people that we probably shouldn't take each other's recommendations for movies, friend.
Sure. Well, I just, a lot of me feels like it's just gonna get you hits to
shit on
this movie. Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be popular to hate, and that's not what we do.
No, and people are just looking for a way to justify their distaste in this without actually watching it. Well, I'll go to BuzzFeed and I'll see what they say. They hate it too. Cool, we're both right. BuzzFeed bros.
Hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. I did that with Batman and the Infinite Sadness.
Well, I like to look around. I like to gather opinions. I'm not quite as high on this as you are. But, especially when I have an opinion about something I'd rather not experience, or I don't have the ability to experience, I want to see if I'm crazy. basically. I want to see if there's, and I'm not going to go, oh, Google first hit says I'm right. Cool, done. That's a wash. It's, okay, well, what did this guy think? Well, I think this guy has different opinions.
I definitely went out looking for opinions on Batman and Infinite Sadness that disagreed with mine, and they all sound like gibberish, so...
I mean, basically, that's where I was sitting. It's like WWE thing. Why do we not review current WWE pay-per-views anymore? I think they're trash garbage. I think they're horrible, horrible cat crap that I would rather dump out of my garbage every week on Monday night, as it happens, and move on with my life about, whereas everyone else seems to really enjoy them. So, okay, I'm the crazy one. I'll go look at something else. Fair.
Yeah, for me, it's just a lot of time for not a lot of return on investment. But for this...
Well, I'm sure if you want to say it like a reasonable person. I thought we were on the internet.
That's actually something that I feel like is a good message to go out on. You're not ever going to get that from the Two Nerds podcast. If that's what you're here for, you probably shouldn't be coming here. You're not going to get... The opinion I give you is never going to be the opinion that will get me clicks. It's going to be my opinion. And
that's why we value the dozen of you, because we're up to a dozen now. Holy shit. We love each and every one of you.
Right?
We spent a long time, this is what we're trailing off the end of the podcast with, we spent a long time at 4, a year solid 4. 2 of those were us. And we moved up to 6 late last year. 6 regular views, man, that was nice. And then just a couple months ago, about a month ago, I noticed we popped up to 12 regular views, and we just got a new subscriber who has been posting in the comments section. Yeah, I see you.
And I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Our audience is minuscule. It's fine. That doesn't matter.
No, we're here to talk about stuff and have fun.
I like to talk about the things I like, about the things I like, about the things I don't like, and that there are a dozen people on the internet who give a shit about my opinion is mystical to me.
Yeah. And we appreciate you for that. And you're not going to get crap from us. Unless it's like an ad or something and we're sponsored, which we'd totally be down for, but we will tell you it's an
Audible,
ad
I will take your money.
I have never used Audible. I think maybe once before. Actually, that I think was Amazon. No, that's Amazon, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. They gave me some free D&D books as read by celebrities I kind of like. And I used it for that. Otherwise, never fucking touched the thing. But if you guys want to float us some money, I will talk about how great your service is. I will tell everyone it's an ad, but I will talk about how great your service is.
I have used Audible. Your service is great. I mean, give me money and I'll say it a lot. But yeah, no, I value all of our listeners, but I don't want more listeners if they're just here to get their opinion agreed with.
Well, I'm okay with camaraderie.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not here to fight you, unless I say fight me, and then I am here to fight you. I say it a lot.
You go get some pain pills thrown at you in a beautiful twist of irony.
Yeah. But, I get that a lot from because I watch a lot of YouTubers. I watch a lot of various things.
Sure.
And you get a lot of people who, it feels like what they're saying is what they think will get them the most views.
I see that a lot more in print articles, but I don't expand my YouTube scope.
And that's true. You see a lot in print articles. And, I mean, I think you can tell by the number of viewers that that's not what we do around here.
Yeah. And if we've got to suffer for it, we've got to suffer for it. Whatever. I don't care. I'd rather sit here and be honest with y'all than be on the front page of YouTube. I'll sell out for a lot, but I mean, somewhere in there, the line is drawn.
I can't really think of anything else I want to say about Death Note.
I thought the Ryuk effects were great. Visually, I thought it was beautiful.
I think I like and think it was a good idea for them to keep him mostly in shadow. I
liked that they went with spines instead of feathers. I thought that was a really cool look.
Yeah, because feathers wouldn't have played well in live action.
No, I don't think so.
It plays really well in animation.
And it made him really intimidating looking. Because in the fucking anime, you see him all the time. 110%
He's dancing in the background usually.
Yeah, he's just doing shit. But here, he was he's this lurking little monstrosity. And it really lent a lot of, weight to him. And I love that they didn't dwell so much on what Ryuk was, because the mythology is so
He's
foreign,
a monster.
It would have taken up a good 20 minutes of the movie to, explain it.
He's a fucking monster. Let it go. You don't need to know for this movie to work.
Yeah.
Magic book kills people. It's Ryuk's book. He is a god of death. They do mention that.
Yeah.
They show him later in the movie in some ancient Japanese art. That's about as much as you ever get, and it's more than you need. He likes apples, he's a monster, he's here to tempt Light into doing bad things with his magic murder artifact, and if Light doesn't please him, he will turn on him. They make all that real clear. And that's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need to know about the Shinigami and the Shinigami King and all that shit. You don't.
I was a little sad not to have Rem in, just because I really like that character.
I mean, she might have been in a sequel, but they're...
I would be surprised if they got to make a sequel.
It's
that,
Netflix. It's Netflix. They don't release their ratings.
No, you're right. They don't.
For all the bitching this got on the internet, if fucking everybody who has Netflix watches it, they'll make a season 2.
Well, and to that extent, for all the bitching this has got on the internet, the guys who made Death Note really liked it. They thought the ending was a fun surprise. They enjoyed it.
You know why? Because oftentimes you find people who make things just like to see other things get made.
Yeah.
Usually the people who sit around bitching about things constantly and just hate everything that's new and different don't actually make things.
And I remember a lot of the frustration Masaoka, excuse me if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, it's been a long time, had from trying to defend this, because he was one of the bigger producers. He had a bit part in the show as a detective that was hanging out with L.
Yeah, that's great.
Hero from Heroes. He was getting frustrated with trying to defend this show before it even came out because people were ready to fucking hate it before it even dropped. And I guarantee you a lot of that's getting carried over.
In the year of our Lord Cthulhu 20,000 in current year, it's popular to hate these things.
Yeah, well, it always has been. It's nothing new. It's just still shitty behavior. And it is at the moment a bit trendier. A bit trendier.
That's fair. That's a fair clarification, I'd say.
But I'm with Masaoka. I thought it was really great.
It was fun.
Cast was great. Crew was great. Fucking visuals were great. Audio was great. Really neat song choices, I thought, too. I was down with this movie. Is it the best movie of all time? No. Probably isn't going to crack my top 20. But I'd watch it again.
God, no. Not for me either.
I'd watch it again in the next month. I probably wouldn't sit and watch it like I did, but I'd turn it on the fucking TV.
If there was someone else who wanted to watch it.
Yeah, like if Brandy came home and she's like, I want to watch Death Note with you guys. I'd be like, sure, turn that shit on. I won't even put headphones on. I want to hang out. I want to hear the amazing delivery of Ryuk's lines. I want to see L be awesome.
Stanfield is L's name. I wanted to fucking say it on the podcast.
I've seen it as Lakeith also.
Possibly, yes. I'm just going by what the internet tells me.
Yeah, sure.
Keith Stanfield, you did the Lord's work, son. That was good.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, well, we actually made it to 37 minutes then.
Just Death Note. You'll probably hear about all the other shit I wanted to bitch about. And look at me doing what I said was bad. Later.
Wait, what's bad?
All of the other shows I was going to watch and bitch about.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. Well,
But in any case, I think we're good here.
Yeah, say the line.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hot.